Record on this computer. So please feel free to press the button if you want to stay in the room. This is the Room of Kind Mind, and my name is Kelly Mabel, and we're coming live to you from the Faroe Islands, which is an extension of Denmark, and it's a beautiful tiny cluster of islands in the middle of the ocean, way up here by Iceland and Greenland. And I can't tell you how exciting it is to think that we can actually be here and you guys can all be where you are and be having a conversation and be able to do it over the internet and everything's working. So I'm really glad about that. And I am also glad that you've all made it here. So before we begin, I thought I would take a moment and just ask everybody to type into the chat where you're from. Where are you coming to this room from? Because I love to hear. Hi, Susan. Great to have you. Ray Joan. So just go ahead and type in the room where you're from, and I'd love to see. And for those of you who don't know, the Faroe Islands are a part of Denmark. They've been owned by the Danes since the existence of the actual land here, from what I've been told by some of the historians. And the only other people that have ever been landed in the Faroe Islands is the English, because they came over to help the Danes protect their land against the Germans at that time. And so there's a lot of tradition and history here. And it's been a beautiful opportunity to be able to come to Denmark and spread the three principles message and understanding, but also to actually meet some of the globe, meet people from around the world. And I've had the opportunity to meet some of the three principles followers, if you will, and be a part of the Danish amazing love, or coziness, as they say, the hygge, if I say it right. And so I know that some of you, okay, we've got Gold River, California. We have Coquitlam with my lovely Meg, which is neighboring me. And Coquitlam is also in British Columbia, Canada. Oh, we have Greenland. Hello, Rosa from Greenland. And Frederica, Denmark. I didn't even know that. Fredericia, do I have that right, Pernille?
Fredericia.
Fredericia, thank you. Maybe you can read the Danish ones. Go ahead. You read the Danish ones. Oh, so we have Copenhagen. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. And we've got Richmond with Loretta. Lovely to see you, Loretta. And go ahead, Pernille, how do you say the other one?
Well, I can't see them on the screen.
Oh, you're on the iPad, aren't you? Okay, yes, so it's Stavanger, Norway. So we have Koga, Denmark. And Philip, come on, can you help me out? I don't know how to say the two dots over the O.
Linköping, Sweden.
Linköping. Yeah, okay.
Perfect.
And then we have another Charlotte, beautiful, from Denmark. Well, welcome everybody. So today's conversation is with my lovely hostess who's been spoiling me rotten while I've been here in Denmark. Pernille and I met when she came into the room at Kind Mind back in, I think, March, was it, Pernille?
No, May.
May. Yeah. And she came in via the conversation through Dickon, which some of you might know. And it was a really rich conversation then. But what happened was there was an experience for Pernille that she put up her hand and she spoke out in the room for the first time. And that created a conversation between the two of us. And she had sent me an email. And I'm just noticing, just a second. She sent me an email that said, I'd like to just thank you for being a part of the room. And then we carried on talking. And I said, well, do you want to, like, you're from Denmark and I'm from Canada. Do you want to have a conversation? And so we did. And so that ended up with us considering going to a conference of the three principles with Natasha, Dickon, and Michael Neal in the lovely Norway. And unfortunately for both of us and for some of you in the room who were going, it was canceled. But Pernille said to me, well, just because they canceled, we don't have to. Why don't we go and do a holiday? So I said yes. And so she's here with me. We're sitting in our beautiful hotel. And I think I will give you the view just one more time for those of you who'd like to see what we're looking at from our hotel rooms. So this is the view of the Faroe Islands. Can everybody see that? So there's the island that we're sitting in front of, and the little town that is supporting us while we're here. So Pernille has a conversation that she's going to share with all of you about her journey and the things that have been happening for her while she's been learning the 3 principles, while we've been traveling together, while she's been experiencing 3P in her own way. And so I'm super happy to announce that she's with me and in room 146 across the hall. And I'm going to turn the room over to you, my dear friend. And thank you for being here.
Thank you, Kelly, and thank you very much for inviting me. I think it's also very important to thank you for creating the Kind Mind community, as I have come to learn, if I didn't know it beforehand, that within the last couple of weeks, how much it means to people around the world. So thank you all very much for that too, Kelly, and for inviting me. Having said that, though, then I cannot deny that when it came up that I could either leave the meeting or I got it, I thought just for 1 second, should I leave the meeting, as I'm, to be honest, a little bit out of my comfort zone. As you pointed out, then in May, I dared to put up my hand, and I think it's the first and the last time so far, but here I am all of a sudden in the room together with you and your wonderful friends and my friends too. Thank you very much for showing up. As some of you may know, I'm a newcomer when it comes to the understanding of the 3 principles. I got introduced to the principles in the beginning of this year, and very little did I understand at all. But having said that, there was something within me that resonated, and I decided to participate in a course by Natasha Sverdlov, a 3P practitioner course, which led me into a deeper understanding of the 3 principles. But having said that, little still did I know at the very beginning, and I found it to be hocus pocus. How can it possibly be that the understanding with the trinity of universal mind, universal consciousness, and thoughts can be such a solid grounding and foundation when you first get the understanding of it on a deeper level. For those of you who do not understand, or not understand, but do not know the 3P, it really started as 2 insights by Sydney Banks. I think it was back in 1973 or around about that year. And he came to 2 profound insights that we, as human beings, live in a mind-constructed world. And the second thing was that all is one. And the 3 principles is really the understanding of how we as human beings create suffering from ourselves, and how really to avoid doing so. That is really what it boils down to. In other words, Sydney Banks would probably say that we should go beyond our 5 senses, as when we do think about something, it creates feelings, and that is when we are in problems. There is a world of form, and what really defines a world of form is that it can be measured, it can be changed, it has sort of an expiry date on it. And the 5 senses that I just spoke of is, from what I understand, in the world of form. And what is important is to go into the formless, as it is within the formless, that we get to set ourselves free from our thoughts in a way that is preventing us from being free spirit, so to speak. When I participated in the 3P practitioner course, as I said in the beginning, I really didn't understand a word of what was being said, and I thought it was hocus pocus. And when I was told that I shouldn't really be listening to what I was being told, but I should look for a feeling, then I got even more astray on understanding what it really was about. How is it possible to look for a feeling only and not think about things which has been my mindset almost all my year? In my professional life, I work as a lawyer, and then thinking and data is very much my thing. And yeah, I see that Kelly's got a big smile on her face. Having said that, then all of a sudden to be told that I really shouldn't be doing the thinking, but I should be listening for and looking for a feeling, really confused me. But having said that, it was such a relief to realize that everything in the universal mind and in the universal consciousness is carrying me, and everything will be just fine and all right. And I do not have to think about solutions or to see if I can sort of think my way out of a certain problem. That was really a relief. And work-wise, I have often thought that despite of my education as a master in law, I am also educated in the field of peace making, to realize that I do not have the answers for other people within me. So I can help them to find out how to look at their issues and problems. But really, at the end of the day, they know what is right and what is best for them. And that really took, I think, at least 50 kilos from my shoulders to know that I'm not there to solve anyone's problem, not alone my own. I'm being taken care of too, as well as they are. So you may say that there is the problem, and then there is thinking about the problem, there is the life, then there is a thinking about life. And really, at the end of the day, it's possible to lean back. As in the world of the formless, it's really the now that matters. And what defines, or what sort of amplifies the world of formless, is that it has got no form and it cannot break. I cannot break. I'm perfect as I am. And it hasn't got an expiry date either. So everything is eternal, so to speak, and it's unpersonal. So everything that has been created from the formless. As I said earlier, the mind, the consciousness, and then the thoughts. And that has really been a relief for me to know that everything is catered for, so to speak. I don't need to do anything, but just to try and do as much as possible to be in the present moment. Before I came to learn about the 3 principles, I was often told that, well, just be positive in your thinking. But that is really just an add-on. I mean, that is just another thing to do, all of a sudden, to try to think positive. Instead of saying, all right, if you just stay in the feeling of whatever is occurring and happening, and not trying to change it or try to make it go away. That is really helping it to go away faster than if that is what I've come to learn. Then I try to do even more thinking in order to change it. Yeah. And I also think that with regards to my work, if I have a huge assignment that needs to be done, or or I'm preparing to go to court. I've often thought that the time I spend on preparing for it without really writing or typing anything down, but just to sort of to be with it, came down to being lazy or not being good enough at my work. But I've come to realize that with regards to that approach, it's not the case, because as soon as I find that now I'm ready to approach the preparation of the law case or the assignment, and I sit down and start typing whatever needs to be typed, then it's really the universal mind and the consciousness that helps me to come up with the answers. And that again has been such a relief, as I thought that something was wrong with me. But I've realized that that is not the case. All the informations and the help needed is already there. So in that sense, it has changed my work life too, as I thought, yes, that something was wrong with me, but I've come to realize that that is really not the case. And again, as I said previously, then everything is all right and I'm perfect as I am. Being here at the Faroe Islands and having done a bit of touring with you, Kelly, seeing the beautiful nature has really emphasized to me what I've just been talking about with regard to the divine mind, divine consciousness, and that it's so unique and it's so powerful what has been created here. And we have been taking pictures of waterfalls and sheep running here, there, and everywhere. And with regards to the sheep, then it is being said that they have a tendency to, as soon as something is changing within the weather, and it does very often here in Faroe Islands, then they stop or they lay down, and they do not get up until the storm is over or the danger has vanished or disappeared. Whereas if I can use that as a photo, or not a photo, but a picture of how we as a human, or I as a human work, then I have a tendency, or I have had before the 3P, a tendency to run around and try to speed up in order to do some change and to get away from whatever I have wanted to get away from. And I think it was Bill Pettit who said that, that is what is so typical of the human being, that they speed up instead of slowing down. And that is another thing that I have become more and more aware of, how important it is to slow down instead of speeding up. And I did not see that until the 3P, to be honest. So the more I have the ability to be in the now, to be in the formless world, the more I feel at peace and I feel grounding or grounded. So what has happened when I got to learn the 3P was really that it went from the world of form to the world of the formless. Yeah. I don't think that as a big thinker, I knew how huge an impact my thoughts had on me. I thought that my thoughts were the only truth, and to have come to see how much my thoughts create feelings and how much I can get astray with that has been really helpful and an eye-opener for me. Having said that, I still do stumble, and I hope that I have many things more to come and to learn too. but really, yeah, I think that getting to know the understanding of the three principles has been really transforming for me. Another thing that I have noticed with regards to the understanding, and I think that they also involves you, Kelly, with the Kind Mind community, is the amount of love that is being put out. It is as though every day the red carpet is out for feeling love. And while the two of you, or the two of us, have spent time together in Copenhagen, I've got to meet some new friends. You've got to meet some new friends. And I think that is really something very special and unique. That is something that the three principles can do for all of us to create, love and peace. And I think that is really important too. And it goes beyond the individual, but it's more a mutual and a global thing. I find it difficult to put into words how I have got insights and how I understand 3-3, but I do hope that I've been able to at least make myself clear in some ways. I do not know, Kelly, if you find that there is a need for some clarification, or if you think that I should try and put something into words that I haven't already put into words. Do you have any suggestions or thoughts on that? Speaking of thoughts.
I think you said it so nicely, and I'm going to come back to that place where you said, I'm sensing my way through the principles. I'm with all of my senses. I'm feeling, I'm seeing, I'm touching, I'm experiencing. And being in a place that we're in, being in this place, the principles have just become alive, because even though there's still, this is a trip and we're on the run, if in a sense, there's so much to see, and yet there's just so much stillness that is right in front of us, because it's vast here. It's very vast. So the space between livelihood or city is a large gap of form filled with the essence of all things. So when you're there, you can just see so much that you hadn't seen before. I'm curious, do you want to share about going from each town, and I guess I'm coming to the place where I'm thinking about my expectations in my head, driving to a town thinking that there'll be something there, the illusion that I made up in my own mind. And it's so true to form that when we were driving, we would leave the hustle, we'd get in the car, and then we'd drive. And then the formless would just be in front of us. Everything that I would say, the essence of all things, everything that's created was just there, and we were just sitting there. I personally was gawking out the window at, as Pernille was driving, and then while I was driving, she was in her moments, knowing that she sees something and she captures it with her camera. But there was a lot of space between one place and to another. And what I think is there's just something in that for me, that between the cities, which might have been only an hour drive, there was more formless in there than I had seen in the 5 hours, in the city of Copenhagen, let's say. where we're just in sight of everything. What do you say about that? What did you see?
Well, I think I see very much the same way as you, and that was what I tried to put into words just back then. As it's so overwhelming to see the nature on the Faroe Islands and to experience how much beauty has been created and the life force, so to speak, that is within it all. And having said that, then, and this may be in the world of form, though, I cannot deny that, but we have realized, or we have come to learn, Kelly and I, that they pretty very much close everything down on Sunday and Monday, and when we are going somewhere, then well, there is nature, and then there is Kelly and I, and peeps, and that's really about it. And what am I saying with this? Well, I think that it cannot be ruled out that the way that they are leading their life at the Faroe Islands, although this is probably painting with a white brush and also a generalization, but in one way or another, it is as though they have adapted to the nature and vice versa, and also their lifestyle. They have different priorities, I think, and they also have different values, and that is also very interesting to see. As again, what is a part of your foundation? What is a part of your grounding, and what shapes you and your perception of life? Yeah.
I had this thought as we were coming here. I was imagining that I was pulling my luggage, and as I grabbed my luggage, which was of course way too much and too stuffed, everything stuffed in the bag, and I get into the hotel room, and when I open up the luggage, I'm thinking, well, I can put my thoughts over there. Let's take some thoughts and we'll just put those over there. And oh yeah, like I'm really aware that, I'm not at home, so I'm going to have a whole bunch of awareness. We're going to put that over there. And I've got my judgments and my opinions, and let's put those in the corner over here. And what I realized is that, I bring that stuff with me. The way I think it could be, my thoughts about things, but in very short order. When I become still enough, I notice that there's nothing in the bag. It's just, it's whatever I'm wanting to fill the experience with. And I'm not sure, Pernille, how long it took you in your mind, but I know for me, there's a bit of a what do we call that, decompression happening on the plane, and that's until you actually arrive in the Faroe Islands, when they can't land, so they circle a couple times until they decide that. And so you got more thinking, I had more thinking, and then it's like, okay, we're actually landing now, great, okay, good, we're on the ground, and all that experience is with me at any given moment. But what I've noticed is the longer I'm in the experience of this, what I call magnificence, this space, so little is left but that, for that.
I think that what we have both experienced, or I should speak on my own behalf, but it's during this trip on the Faroe Islands, I find that I've been completely present, or have got a different kind of awareness, or can you say falling out or dropping out of the thinking, and into a feeling of peace and silence, as the nature is just so overwhelming that it's taking your breath away, really. and being present beyond our thinking and beyond what we are experiencing is really what is happening then in a quiet and peaceful mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that being at the Faroe Island has, in my world, really contributed to that, as it has been very, well, maybe overwhelming is not the right word, but the nature has such a big impact on me that it's difficult not really to be present when being out in the nature, and to experience a quiet and present mind.
Mm-hmm.
I think that as I said before, to slow down, to be quiet, to listen within and see what comes up is really something that has been happening during this trip. Most definitely there has been lessons to learn, lessons to be seen, and I would also say that, doors to be open, and when that happens, then the beauty and love automatically flows back to you. And that is something I will bring back with me in my suitcase from the Faroe Islands. This wonderful slowing down, being quiet, and trying to listen within. It is, as I said previously, with regards to love, then what is the purpose of it all? I mean, purpose, put forward in Latin, that is what it means. We are all here to put love forward. That is what we're doing. I think even in this room, there's something about the connection between the wonderful people that are joining us, and the feeling of it all.
Mm-hmm. How do you think this is a great time to open up the room? I don't know.
Yes, please. Yes.
I'd love to put out somewhat of a question, but not really. Just a wave of thinking. So here we are, and we're having this experience, yet we brought ourselves from similar places that you are. Some of you might be sitting in your kitchen, some of you might be, ready for work. And so both of us came in that way, and something happened. Something very unique to each of us as an individual, so to Pernille and to myself, and it happened very differently. And that place where I noticed a shift and change in me, where there was a significant difference from who came on the first day and to now we're in our third day. And so I'm curious, where do you see that in your own world? Where do you see that place where you are aware, or you're in the noticing of self? Because I can say that I've definitely been witness to myself this whole trip. And at times, when I'm on the speed of Kelly, I'm not noticing self. I'm just, running for the execution of my day. But something happened here that it doesn't happen, is available to me to happen at all times, but I don't necessarily grab a hold of it. So I'm curious, what do you guys notice about Pernille's conversation? What do you notice about yourself in who you're bringing? And then when that shift changes, I'm curious what everybody has to say about that, or anything else that you'd like to share, talk about. Hi, Rachel.
Hi there, Kelly.
Hi.
I'm just wondering if it's because you're away from home that you're so much more aware, that you're just so, because you're in a new place and there's just everything's so different, and that you're more in the present of yourself. Whereas, like, I'm just curious about that, is if that's the what's happening, because being at home, I'm just guessing, is that we're so used to everything around us, and we know what is happening. We know what we can pretty much expect. So just the newness of everything and the indifference, and I just thought maybe that was more about why you're so much more aware. Do you think? I don't know. I'm just...
Yeah, but Pernille, do you want to answer that question for Rachel?
Yeah, well, I can. Yeah, very much. Thank you for the question. I know from my side that being out in the nature, the way that it is in the Faroe Islands, has a big impact on me, and that is also a change of scene, not only with regards to not being at home, but also being in a different kind of can you call it countryside? And I do not know if you know the Danish countryside, but it's completely different, and we do not have the vastness that we find up here. And I lack words to describe the feeling. And maybe I shouldn't even think about the words. I should just, look for the feeling. What Kelly can witness that. Yeah, it does something very good for me when I'm out in the countryside. So I do not think so much that it is a question of being away from home. It's more the impact the nature has on me, if that makes sense. I have lived in Greenland from 95 till 98, and I felt exactly the same up there. And that is why I sometimes like to go to Philip's country, to Sweden, to experience and to get the feel of the vastness, and can you call it rough nature, that we do not have in Denmark. So many words in trying to answer your question, but it's the nature first and foremost in my case. Yeah. What about you, Kelly? Do you have any?
Well, I can say I definitely know what Rachel's talking about, because she used a word that just made me think, which was, we know what's going to happen, or we know what's around us, right? Sometimes, Rachel, people can be in more thought in the unknown than they are in the known. So really, it's not even that you know it or you don't, because I could have had a lot of thinking going on about what the heck are we doing? Where am I? Which I said to Pernille, what am I doing? Coming all the way over to this. But when you're living in your experience, whatever it is, I think the thought I had to that, what you were asking, was that it's in my means to decide what feeling I want to be living in. And that's available to everybody anywhere. And so Pernille, for her, the love is in the nature. And I can't presuppose where yours is. I know you have a knowing of where it is. But I think Sid would say that the experience is available moment to moment. I kept calling this webinar, Rajon, the nature of things, because it's our nature in all things.
Okay.
Like your own personal nature, who you are, and all the things that you can experience. My question to myself is always, and who do I want to be in it? Because I know I had a lot of thinking going on coming over here, the planning, the excitement, all the details. I mean, the COVID tests, the sticks up your nose. I mean, you name it, they were doing it. And then the, government locator, and then they changed the plans, and then you have to do it all over again. And I could have really got wrapped up. But I had a feeling that was bigger than those problems.
Mm.
Did that answer your question? Yeah.
Well, it's yeah, I am understanding it better now. It's yes, thank you for that. And I myself always, pardon?
What did you hear?
Well, for me, when I wasn't sure, I guess with the nature word, I took it as like being out in the nature.
Mhm.
Like when I'm just, I just feel like I'm just with the awness of earth, right? I always feel so much better when I'm like in forest and all of that. But yeah, so I can relate with that. So
Yeah.
and I can see how we decide how we want to be in every situation at all times. Being aware that we have that decision is huge, right? Because right, I mean, that what just even saying that is like, yes, I choose how I want to be or how I am. And in all situations, and it's like, yeah, it is it's my own making of my experiences. And just recognizing and being aware, right? It's just like, yeah, it's good. It's really good. And it's good to see you too.
Thank you so much for
I miss you. I miss you. When are you coming home?
I miss you too. Soon.
Oh, good. Okay.
Thanks for the question. Cecilia, please. Hi, honey. Cecilia, I just want to say is like my newest best friend. No, we had an opportunity to meet, and Pernille, I'd love for you, if you have it on top of mind. We had a circumstance where we were to meet Cecilia at a certain time, at a certain day, and there was, we had lots of. We had so much of 3P in it. Could you speak to when we walked away, when we were saying goodbye to Cecilia and we walked away? What happened there? Because this is what the Kind Mind community and also 3 Principles does all the way around. And I wonder if you could just share that before Cecilia talks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hi, Cecilia. Very good to see you again.
Hey, Pernille.
Well, to be honest, Kelly, I think that to put it into words is really difficult, as it was such a strong feeling and almost transformative with regards to what it is to meet, or how it can be to meet another person, and the wonderful meeting we had, and the open hearts and the sharing. We both felt very grateful to have met you, Cecilia. Really, it was a very special moment, dear moment that, well, Kelly has got many beautiful things to put in her suitcase, but I think it goes without saying that your meeting is one of a kind. It was really something very special. Yeah.
I say the same.
And also it showed how the 3 principles, and yes, the Kind Mind community can build bridges and can, open doors. Yeah, it really was something very special.
Mm-hmm. So now that we've sent you all that love, go ahead, Cecilia.
Thank you. I don't know what to say. It's lovely. I was asked by Kelly to come and visit her in Copenhagen, and I in the beginning I felt, do she want me? But then I put that away and thought, no, I'm going to Copenhagen, and I did, and I met Kelly and Pernille, and we had so wonderful meeting, and I didn't. I was so present that I didn't think about where we were or nothing else than our speak and our my English, the present moment. So I didn't need any travel or anything else. It's just the beautiful feeling. I loved it very much.
Mm-hmm. You know, I have to say something there, and I'm saying this to everybody here. I think it was more for me, you know, everybody has an amount of effort that it takes to do any one given thing. And there's thoughts around how to effort to one thing or another. So I got to make lunch, or oh, it's my husband, he's coming home late, I'm going to make dinner. Oh, my partner's got to use the car, how am I going to get it? Whatever it is. But to effort to see somebody you might not know, you know, to go and Cecilia, to her credit, she had come for the very first time to Copenhagen since COVID. So there was that on top of it. But in my mind, I was thinking, how much effort? And when I say effort, I mean, you know, putting myself to a place where I'm going to extend further than I would normally extend. Yes, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go and do this and I'm going to make this happen. And it was as if when the three principles took over, because you're in anticipation before you get there, you don't know what's going to happen. We don't know anything. But when we got there, it was like everything that the effort it took to get there fell away. And we just all sat there just in a room, in a beautiful feeling, like she said. And I don't know if any of you have that thought pattern where you think, oh my God, do I really have to do this now? Like, I don't know if I can go to her house, or, oh God, it's 4:00. I'd rather stay home. You know, these are thoughts that I've had in the past where I just, now I just have a feeling, and I just turned to Pernille and said, we're going. This is what time we're doing. We're going. She's like, okay, we're going. And then teasing me because I said, I want to be early. We can't be late. I want to be early. And then getting there and experiencing a conversation of three principles with someone I didn't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And all the other beautiful things that came from it, Cecilia. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Lovely to have you.
Susan has put her hand up.
Yes, Susan.
So nice to meet you, Pernille. Hi, Kelly. I'm so glad you're over there having these lovely experiences. Pernille, you said something that really bing, just sent a little bell off, and it was stay in the feeling, it will go away faster. And sometimes being in the now is maybe a fearful place or a painful place, and even fearing the pain. So I sort of got this sense when you said it will go away faster, if you feel it, that I got this sort of sense of space and being cared for, almost. Yeah, I say being cared for. And just got the sense of just acceptance and surrender. So I don't have to fix the situation. It will happen, and I can just kind of relax into that feeling of being cared for. So I want to thank you so much for that. I don't know, it just really something you just set off this great feeling your understanding for me. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm. We never know what room, what day, what time an insight will come.
I think it's only human to have a low mood ever so often. And that is perfectly all right. Perfectly all right. The challenge is not to let it brew or try to, yes, fix it or to make it go away, but to stay in the feeling as you just said, Susan. Yeah. And trust me, I have had low moods and I've been doing a lot of thinking, trying to get sort of out of that feeling. But that is one of the things that I have really come to not only learn, but also experience by heart, so to speak, that it is true, that it vanishes, it disappears very quickly when you not get attached to it. Yeah. So enjoy the journey, Susan. Yeah, it's all worth it.
It's like the weather in the Fairy Islands. They just
True.
sail on through.
Yeah.
Hello, Bill. Great to have you.
Hi. I just am struck by the feeling I have. It's I lose sight of who you are almost. I just feel the feeling that you talked about when you all three of you met. Or as Pernille, the way you talk about the space of now. And what it brings up for me are all the people, the feelings I've had for so many people that where the words haven't been important, where it's just the feeling was there. And just the joy, the feeling of being in the presence of these people that I had in my life. And that's the feeling I get as I was listening to you all. And I love it when I have my tears of joy. And it just is so, and I guess I put the words aside, call it whatever, I don't even want to hear the words. It's just the feeling that I get, and I just feel so appreciative of that. And I can see it's almost like being in a place of beauty with nature, wherever. I think it's when it's enjoying the form without any of the words about it. And it's like, so it's both. It's the silence and the beauty of the form. Not either or, but both. And I don't have to do anything about it or even speak about it, but if they come, that's fine too. Anyway, I just enjoy the feeling I'm having as I listen to you all. And the feeling that you described when the three of you were together, oh man, that just makes my heart melt, because that's what I have so many times in my life, except when I get hidden behind all of my thoughts about the shoulds and whatever and the identities. So anyway, I just love that feeling. So thank you all.
Yeah, thank you. That I don't know about you, Pernille, but what you said just reminds me, as you said, we had that. But if I go back and think of the times that I've had it in the past, like you said, there are no words. It's like you go out riding your magic carpet, you're just leaving, with that And that's what we felt. We were supposed to go shopping to the Magnuson, which is this Harrods of Denmark. And Pernille and I were standing outside the store looking back at Cecilia leaving. And I was like, oh, is she going to look back? And then I'd look at Pernille, and then I'd look back, and she's, there's no way to describe it. It's just a beautiful thing. My gratitude for you sharing. Thank you. Pernille?
Well, Meg, you have raised your hand.
I have. Thank you, Pernille. And thank you, Kelly. Pernille, I just wanted to share that as you were sharing your unfolding of the 3 Ps, and you spoke about form, formlessness, and vastness, that feeling that came to me was just pure love. You broke open my heart. Because my sense from my own experience is that when we are in the presence of another that is speaking from this place, and we speak about this word presence, and what does it mean to be present? My sense is that all form disappears, and we return to the essence of where we came and where we will eventually return to when this form is no longer here. And so we're dwelling in this, the word that comes to me right now is in the womb of creation with one another. And so everything, thought, form, opinion, judgment, all that disappears, and we just sink into this womb of love. And that's so magical. It's so precious. And it's so pure. And so my sense is when we speak about, shared experiences of being out in nature, and we use the word vastness, this feeling of vastness, there's no structures of skyscrapers and busy cars and all that kind of stuff. It's vast. There again, we're returning home to the vastness of us, because we have really no form. The form that we see is, again, it's created by mind, but it is also it also breaks. Because this isn't permanent. And so where this is all sort of pointing me is just back into the knowing that we are infinite, we are vast. And when we can fall into that place with another human being, really, can there be anything more precious than that? So, thank you, my friend. Thank you very much.
Do you think it's time to wrap it up, Kelly, or just leave it as it is?
Well, what I'm going to say is that there's always room for silence. So how about this? How about this? First, let me say, does anybody, I'm just going to change my view here. Would anybody like to offer, share, or add anything that they have felt in being with us, being with you, being in this moment, this room? Elsie would say, the truth carries itself. So the truth is that this very magical room is going to come to a close. And I'd like to thank my first hostess and second, my speaker in the room, for bringing herself live to the Faroe Islands, for sharing her love with you all. It's been my honor, Pernille. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So everybody, we're going to be back next week. We hope you come for more peace of mind and kindness. So till next time, much love from the Faroe Islands.